Hello everyone! Now that the chocolate frog mania has kind of settled down, I thought I'd make a video about the thing that usually is the one that occupies most of our time, which is doing classes, whether it is for an event or for grinding attributes, which we all love to do. So the basic rule of thumb when it comes to events is rather simple. If it's a crest event, you should be focusing on 1 hour classes because that's the more efficient way to get the stars. When it comes to House Pride, you really should be focusing on 8-hour classes. The math is rather simple there. One 8-hour class will give you 10 house points, whereas a 1 hour class only gives you 2, so you would have to do 5 1-hour classes to get the same amount of house points, which obviously will take you more time and more energy. And the 3-hour classes are not much better. One gives you 4 house points, so you would have to do 2 3-hour classes plus 1 1-hour class to get that same amount of house points, which is 10. And frankly, that one 8-hour class is faster and more efficient and will help you progress in the event a lot. Well, a lot. It will help you progress faster. House Pride is still a rather slow and grinding event, and you definitely should be doing Quidditch friendlies on the side to help out with the house points. When it comes to full marks, though, there is much more wiggle room. It's very much up for interpretation, depends on the tile. If you have tiles that say collect full stars from a class that many times, obviously it's 1-hour classes because those are the fastest to get through. But if it's like complete successfully this many mini games or get this many stars, then do what feels right for you. Mix and match 8, 3, 1-hour classes, whatever works for you really. The real trick and real math starts when it comes to grinding. In the early years, and I don't mean the first one because obviously in the first year you can't really grind, but in the second and third as well, you are better off actually focusing on 1-hour classes. Many people will go like 8-hour classes are best for grinding. They are, but in the early years, because your resources are so limited, they do take longer to do. Like, I think it takes up to 4 or 5 hours usually in the early years. Now, if it's like the first thing I do in the morning and I have full energy and all the spots have recharged, I can get through one 8-hour class in like 2 hours, no problem. So it's just later on it becomes easier, and you definitely should be focusing on the 8-hour classes in the later years. But at the beginning, you are completely fine doing 1-hour classes. But yeah, why the 8-hour classes later on? Why is it so important? Obviously, when they say like longer classes give better rewards or higher rewards, many people will make a fuss about the fact that the rewards you get once you reach every star are often completely ridiculous. And yes, those are completely random. It doesn't matter what type of a class you take. I've gotten choices between 5 attribute points from an 8-hour class and brown books from a 1-hour class. That is true. What you should be focusing on are the guaranteed rewards, which is how many attributes you get per star. And that's where the real kind of difference lies. So let's take a look at an 8-hour class. So you get 5 stars. For each star you get 10 attributes, except for a few classes that give 10 for the first 3 and then 12 attributes for the 4th star and 15 for the 5th star, and I will get into why that is. But so that adds up to 50 to 57 attributes from full stars alone. Plus you get 10 attribute points for every successful mini game that you complete. So by the end of one 8-hour class and 5 stars, you get 100 to 107 attribute points, plus the 10 house points that you would get anyways. Now, if you wanted to collect 5 stars by doing a 3-hour and 1-hour class, 1-hour class gives 4 or 5 attributes in total for the stars, and then obviously 20 attributes from the mini game. So that's 24, 25 attributes. And then 3-hour classes give you 15 or 18 attributes per in total from the stars, plus 30 attributes from the mini games. That's if they all are successful. So you get 24 or 25 plus, that's 30, 45 or 48. That's like 73 attributes in total max that you can get for the same 5 stars. It will take you around the same amount of time, one 3-hour and one 1-hour class. But yeah, you get like 30 attributes less and 4 house points less, because you only get 6 from the 2 classes rather than the 10 from 8-hour. So that definitely adds up, because you can do several 8-hour classes in the day if you are going to be serious about grinding. So where the difference in the attributes comes. In year 1, you unlock the 3 basic classes: flying, potions, and charms, each covering a different attribute. So you get the knowledge, the empathy, and the courage, and also the 3 clubs: hippogriff, dragon, and sphinx. Clubs unlock year 1, chapter 7, so you can start progressing in those rather early on. But whilst empathy and knowledge classes you get added also in year 2 and year 3, you have to wait till year 4 to get another class that will exclusively give you courage attributes, which might explain why the flying classes give slightly higher attribute points per star. It's not a huge amount, obviously. It doesn't make too much of a difference, but you'll notice that later on as well. The next class that you unlock in year 4 is Care of Magical Creatures, and then in year 5 you get Defense Against the Dark Arts. So you get 3 classes in total over the 7 years that you will spend in Hogwarts that will give you courage points. There's in total 11 different subjects that you unlock as you go along, and so there's 4 for empathy, 4 for knowledge, and only 3 for courage. And all of these 3 classes have slightly higher attribute rewards, probably because of that reason. Furthermore, there's a few kind of little things that are not listed anywhere and doesn't really show up, but the more you do them, you might notice them more. One is, once you unlock the Defense Against the Dark Arts in year 5, you may notice that that class takes less energy. How come? For the most part, when you do a 1-hour class, you know that if you have full energy, you'll be able to do it and it's going to be fine. You might cut it close, but it's going to be fine. With Defense Against Dark Arts, like, my limit currently is 39 energies, and I'm often left with like 9 energies that just were not required. Once again, it's one of the courage classes, so it might have something to do with that. And also, you may have actually had the opposite experience at times, where you do a 1-hour class with full energy, but somehow as you're reaching that 2nd star, you suddenly run out of energy, you run short, and you're like, but I'm supposed to, I should be able to do this. That may be because of the tappies that you choose to go for. There's a storm going on. Anyhow, if you prioritize clicking on the tappies that are like 4 or 5 energy worth, you will actually require less energy to reach each star. Whereas if you're gonna be clicking on the 1 and 2 energy tappies, it will take you more. So you can kind of save up a little bit of energy in pretty much any 1-hour class, for example. And obviously the same kind of applies the longer classes you take, if you focus on the larger tappies. Also, but this only works in classes. Do not do this in regular like story tasks or side quest tasks. If you have the energy by the end of it and you see that you need maybe like a 1 or 2 energy tappy to get the star, but you have some spare energy and there is a tappy that is 4 or 5 energies worth, and especially if it's a club tappy, go for the bigger one. The energy that you spent, you will get back straight away as you reach the star, but the coins and the experience points will stay with you. Once again, it's not a huge amount, obviously. It's like 2-3 points at times. But if you do this every time, I mean, it does add up, and not a big deal, but still. Plus, okay, maybe in the larger scale, you don't really see that much of a difference immediately, but there's always full marks. There's always the daily planner that have these, at times, annoying requirements where collect a certain amount of coins, collect a certain amount of club XP, collect a certain amount of attributes. You know, those. So, and we all have been in a situation where we have like 69 out of 70 points required, and you're just like, I'm 1 point short. Well, if you take advantage of every situation and get the most of it, you may decrease the amount of times you find yourself in situations like this. So, as I said, try and get the most out of everything. It may not seem like a big deal, but it's a good habit, and it will at times prove to be very, very convenient. Oh, and another side note, with potions class, I've especially witnessed it with 1 hour classes. In 8 hour classes, I didn't really see it as big of a problem, but it is the only, so far, that I've noticed class that gives very random attributes when it comes to mini games. The rest will give you the attributes that are assigned to the class, but potions, for whatever reason, you finish a class, you expect knowledge attributes, you finish a mini game, you expect knowledge attributes, and you get empathy, you get courage. Well, I mean, there's only 3 options, but still, it feels all over the place. And it's been going on for a while, so, and they're not fixing it. I don't think they're not changing it. So keep that in mind. If you're gonna grind for knowledge points, maybe don't choose potions class, because it's not exactly reliable when it comes to knowledge points. Go for transfiguration, probably better, you know. But yeah, that is, I think, pretty much it. Of course, every class also gives you the guaranteed club XP, but that number is really, really sad. 1 hour classes will give you 3, 3 hour classes will give you 7, and 8 hour classes will give you 15. Most of the experience points will come from the actual tappies, but we've all been in situations where we go an entire star and it's all blue tappies, the regular ones, no club XP whatsoever. You know, for club XP, if you're gonna grind them, I would suggest the club quizzes. Now we have 2 in all clubs, I think. So, great. And there's a constellation event coming after full marks. So, at least that's the rumor. I'm not gonna say like 100%, but it is. And with constellation events, obviously they usually focus on one club particularly. But one way to progress in it very, very quickly is, once you buy the boost, it only lasts for 8 hours, do all the quizzes, all of them, not just the club that is assigned, but all of the clubs. And you will be able to collect like 3-4 different shards, rewards. You'll be golden, honestly. That's definitely a better way to progress in clubs if you want to do that, if you need that next reward, for example. But as for classes, yes, rather simple. Early on, 1 hour classes, later on, 8 hour classes. Great way for attributes. Try and prioritize bigger energy tappies. Stay away from potions class if you want to grind knowledge exclusively. And yeah, the courage classes definitely give slightly higher attribute points. That's it for today. If you have any questions, if you have a suggestion, something you want me to make a video about, as usual, let me know in the comments and I will do that. Thanks for watching and see you next week. Bye.